All right, welcome to another fun episode of What Do You Collect? We're here with a fun panel today. We got Dan from Front Row Cards, Ashley from Fanatics, Brittney from Joe Hollywood's Whatnot. How are we all doing tonight? How's everybody feeling?
Hey.
Very
ready.
nice. Glad to hear
Ready.
it.
Excited to be here.
Here we go. We're talking collectibles. What got us into this stuff here?
What do you collect? Show me your collection. You're my one of one. You're my kind of obsession. My big break.
This segment is brought to you by NBA Top Shot. What's going on here? Dan, tell us a little bit about Front Row Card Shows and some of the stuff that got you in over there, and just what you've been seeing out there at the card shows through the United States.
If you don't know us, Front Row Card Show is the nation's largest card show promoter. We're all up and down the West Coast. We organize large shows. Our average show is over 500 tables. And, Brittney, I know you're from the East Coast. We're going to have our first show in Atlanta in the end of March.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. Where's that going to be at?
It's at the Cobb Convention Center, which is right across the street from the baseball stadium. So it's going to be opening weekend. So it should be a lot of fun.
Love that.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, Front Row Card Show. I mean, that's what we do. We run the best shows in the country. We get massive crowds. You'll see if you've been to any of our shows, particularly on the West Coast, we're famous for having just huge crowds. Nobody gets crowds like us other than the national. Nobody gets crowds like our shows. And we work with all the big brands. And, so if you're out at any of our shows, go check them out. If you've never been to one, they're fun. We really work hard to make the shows really fun for collectors. And that's where it starts, right? It's like it's gotta come back to taking care of the collectors and give them a good experience.
Some awesome stuff. We're going to come back and continue to talk more about your card shows, the Front Row Cards, what got you started into collecting. But first, there's a little introduction to Ashley. Just want to touch base with you here. Welcome to the show. Want to tell us a little bit about what got you into the position you're in and the collecting world.
Thank you. I got into collectibles over COVID. I was a degen, gambler, poker player, sports fan, and casinos were closed, and I had memorabilia, and I got into breaks, and that was my introduction into the card world. And then I became a breaker for 5 years on Facebook, and then jumped right into the Fanatics live world 2 years ago. And then about 6 months ago, transitioned into a position with Fanatics. And now I am director of collector relations. So dealing with all the athletes, the high net worth individuals, getting them in the hobby, getting more people in the hobby, getting them excited on all ends of the shows, the entertainment, the cards, the auctions, the breaks on live, and just having a blast. This is dream job of mine. I live and breathe the hobby, and now here we are. So happy to be talking to all of you guys about it.
Oh, this is awesome. Very cool. I love we're going to come in and kind of see what I think everybody kind of has a little experience with, working with the athletes and signings and autographs and that kind of thing. So we're going to come back. We'll talk a little bit more about that because it's always interesting, to know, how you get the athletes to show up and, who has the big draws and how difficult that is at times. But
and now they're collecting, which is more than we can ask for now, for the hobby.
It's true.
It's awesome.
I love it. It's awesome. All right, we're going to come back, Ashley. Thank you so much. Excited to hear some more. And Brittney, just want to talk a little bit about what got you into collecting and where are you now with breaking packs, I believe, and ripping away? Where are you?
We are doing a lot of breaks. So my world is Disney. I am so far into Disney and Pixar. It's my world pretty much, other than my kids. To tell you the truth, I met Joe Hollywood probably about 2-3 years ago when he first got on Whatnot, and he introduced me to it. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Not to ever find out that I would be working for Joe Hollywood and I would become a part of the amazing. I mean, the hobby it's so amazing, from sports, because He does sports.
Right.
He breaks sports on the weekends, and I PA with him a lot on the weekends. It's exciting. The adrenaline. People are like, "How do you do it? How do you do it for that long? How do you sit behind?" Because my streams, I had one today. I was on there for about 7 hours, and they're
Wow.
like, "How do you do that?" And I was like, "It's pure adrenaline."
Wow. Thank you for joining us.
Because when you know that you're going to pull something possibly like this, an auto from an actor, you know, from a Disney movie, it gets you going. But all my life growing up, Disney was something that I was a princess to my aunt and uncle. They've called me princess. I'm almost 44 years old and I'm still princess to them.
Very nice.
So
Listen, they never get rid of that title. That's it. Once you got it, it never leaves. I mean, you know, that's it. That's special, and I just love that. You know, your desire to just stick with it. Thank you for joining us after your 7-hour live stream today.
Oh, absolutely.
Espresso cappuccino break. Let us know. Don't worry about it. We'll be able to allot a little time for you. But that's awesome. I love it. The Disney stuff is definitely, you know, you see how popular. I believe it's always been a popular thing to collect, but I think now with the cards, it's you know, it's something with the top, and the top's chrome.
Oh, it's great. I mean, that's pretty much, I break tops chrome.
Yeah.
And I mean, to tell and show my audience what 2024 Mickey Mouse Superfractor has gone from and is listed at right now. Like, my joke in my live is get a Mickey Mouse, buy a house. I'm not lying when I say that.
Wow.
You know,
I literally tell people, I'm like, Disney, Mickey Mouse Supers, right? Goofy Supers, Pluto Supers are going for more than NFL cards right now. Flawless NFL cards. And I go, Mickey Mouse and Goofy are never tearing an ACL, right? They're going to hold down.
Oh my gosh, girl. I say that on my live every week. I'm like, they're not retiring. They're not sitting on the sidelines. They're not going to tear an ACL. Like, none of that.
I have
they're character.
My
they're always going to be classic.
Like my big guys that have LeBrons, Kobe's, I buy Disney and Marvel too because these comps are insane. I'm like, and they're great.
It's crazy.
Wow.
It's an insane market.
It's true.
And Brittney, you do an awesome job. I've watched your lives.
Thank you.
From
Thank you.
Female breaker of 5 years training females in the breaking world, and you do an awesome job. So
thank you. It's definitely can be a cutthroat industry sometimes. But I came from streaming, and I actually do some herp on TikTok. So dealing with that side of things doesn't really, phase me a bit. But yeah, being a girl as a breaker can be a little bit difficult sometimes.
You got a great coach over there too, though. I mean, you got Joe, who's
Joe. I mean,
Joe Hollywood. I mean, come on.
He is. Yeah, he's the best, and he really is the best hype man ever.
I know, his endless amounts of, weekends of just going for 24 hours plus. I mean, it just goes on. It's just, I'm like,
I mean, what time is it right now? Okay, 8:18. He will be live tonight at 8:18,
wow.
And
that's great.
He's gonna go like crazy.
It's hot. You got to keep it going. When the people want to keep going, you keep going.
Exactly.
I love it. Going a little bit, continuing talking about the Disney stuff. Dan, I want to just talk to you a little bit about at the shows that you're at. That you guys put on. What do you see with the Disney World and the non-sport cards? Kind of what have you been, seeing as well over these, last couple years?
Well, the non-sports is incredibly popular. Obviously, people talk about Pokemon a lot, but there's a lot of other different types of non-sports, and the Topps Disney, the Lorcana Disney, even things like Star Wars. There's a lot, and Marvel cards. There's a lot of non-sports stuff. It's really popular. There's things like the 1960s Batman cards. There's a lot of really cool old stuff that you can find that's non-sports that's hugely popular, just hugely popular. And coincidentally, Merlin collects, who does a lot of shows. He's famous in the non-sports world, and he doesn't do any TCG at all. All non-sports, mostly Disney and stuff like that. He said he had his best show ever at our Pasadena show just recently, and it's just a good sign of how strong the non-sports world is, and we love to see that. We love to see the growth in that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I love it too, because it's like, for me, I collected a lot, since I was, younger. I was into collecting a lot I just loved the cards and autographs and memorabilia. So, I mean, as far as the cards go, they really, for me, I never really remembered as a kid, though, like back 100 years ago, in the 80s, I don't remember much value in a lot of the trading cards that were non-sports. It's like sometimes it was strange, because it was like, they were I enjoyed them, and I collected a bunch, and I was like, and later on, you're like, I don't know why they're not like, I got a complete set of like Elvis cards from the 70s, and I'm like, I liked Elvis, I like the music, but I'm like, some of these sets, back then, they were like, I don't know, for $10-15, you kind of.
Hold on, I'm going to call you on that. You got to remember Star Wars back then. Even then, Star Wars was hugely popular if you got the original sets. And then Garbage Pail Kids. I mean, those were hugely popular in the 80s. So, yes. There are some exceptions. But you're right. I mean, you could see cards from the movie Grease and stuff like that. And it's, there's a lot of cheesy cards from some of those movie era. But I think the Star Wars was even quite valuable then, was it not?
Yeah, I don't. I think there was maybe just a lot of the big hype for me, I think, was the sports stuff, as everybody was after. So you went to a show, it's like they're pushing, obviously, at the time, it's all your big baseball players, football, Michael Jordan stuff. So I felt like to find those more obscure, like non-sports, you kind of had to dig a little bit. You know what I mean? It was like
early 90s. Early 90s, Marvel started coming out with cards. They had some earlier, but early 90s Marvel cards are quite valuable now.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, like back when, I don't know if they were. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it was like,
that's true.
They weren't getting such the high price back in the 80s and 90s. I felt like a lot of like Garbage Pail Kids, I don't know, kids would just kind of flick them at you. Like, it was like, whatever.
They'd be in the trash or on your bike tire. That's what they would
exactly. Yeah. Now everybody's got the plastic sleeves. They're in the shop. They know what to do. So it's like, all these things are coming out as, best quality as it can. Half the times I would even be nervous as a kid when I see somebody opening the packs and then they with their thumb going through them, like, the fingerprints, what are you doing? Like, nowadays they know. They're all prepared when they're ripping.
I stuck the Garbage Pail Kid stickers on my dresser. And my mom was unhappy with it, but she didn't care. Nice. But then years later, taking them off, the paint came with it, so it was not good. Not good. Not good.
It's true. I know, it's fun to see, though. I mean, Ashley, you kind of see a lot of the non-sports stuff too has just been growing, and as far as with Fanatics, I know a lot of the boxes that sell out, in the same day they go on sale a lot of times.
It really is. I mean, they're having, and Brittney knows, as much Disney releases, Marvel releases, Star Wars. Those releases are coming out just as much as basketball, just as much as soccer cards, and people are on it, and they go out, they sell out. And then you see that value go way up, especially on those Marvel Sapphire products. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Sapphire right now is insane.
Disney Sapphires insane.
Yeah.
Wow. And as far as to get the products, like, where would you? I mean, as far as if they sell out right away, I guess that where would you suggest some people to get a hand on?
A lot. They do drops, right? We do drops on Tops.com. And a lot of this stuff goes quick, right? So a lot of this is secondary market, like David Adams and those kind of websites. Or what I do with a lot of my guys, if they're, hey, I'm chasing Mickey Mouse only, right? I'd say, hey, Brittney's running a 30 case Topps Chrome break, right? Pick your character. Go buy Mickey in 30 cases in Brittney's break. Just to, it really depends on the collector, right? Are you trying to get wax and rip? Are you trying to chase a certain character?
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
So Brittney, just something else. Told us a little bit about the autograph, from an actor from the Disney the Disney characters that are in those boxes. I know. Do you also collect sports? I mean, as far as like the autographs and memorabilia, is that something that you're into as well, or?
If I could walk over there and get the container of sports cards that I have in my PC,
Love it.
you would be blown away. It's much more than I have. Just kind of my biggest, like I
Oh,
just set them
nice,
right here.
nice. Yes. Show us some of your favorites or something.
But that's just Disney. I mean, you want to know one of my favorites?
Sure.
It's silly.
Oh.
But it's from one of my best buyers.
Oh, nice.
And he also sells on Whatnot. He's in the bullion industry. But he's amazing. And he's one of my best supporters.
I love it.
And he just cut out a Mickey Mouse. It's a 1-of-1 from the whale. He signed it on the back.
So funny.
Wow.
But yeah, I have quite a few. I mean, I love princesses. So again, with the sapphire, I'm huge. I have a few autos. This being one of them. One of my all-time favorites is, again, silly. But that was my very first Disney card ever gifted to me by Joe Hollywood.
Oh, very nice.
So yeah, that's my little prize. Nothing absolutely huge because y'all, I give too much. Okay.
All right.
So my big buyers.
It's not about the biggest card, Brittney. It's about your favorite. That's it.
It is about my favorite. And some of those cards, I've had some buyers that have come in to my breaks and they support so much. And they didn't hit. So I said, I'm bringing in my PC and you're going to get, last week, a big buyer. His daughter loves Disney, like loves it. She's 6. And he hit some princesses, but not enough. Not enough for me. And so I was leafing through my PC and I was like, yep, she's getting that. She's getting that. That's just,
That's very nice. I love it.
And that's what I feel like being in, because crazy enough, I'm in the sports industry before, and before this, I owned a boutique. But when you make people happy, they're going to tell 10 people.
Yeah.
When you make people unhappy, they're going to tell 10 people. And then it's just, make 10 people happy.
Yeah.
And
sometimes what you love is like you want to see like a collectible go to somebody that appreciates it. That,
yeah, exactly.
It's sometimes nice. I've traded or, so I know somebody has really wanted, some collectibles and I'm like, whatever, you can make more money. Maybe it's something I could hold on to, but I'm like, this person's such an extreme fan like that. For me, it's like, I'd rather.
They're an extreme fan. They're an extreme supporter, whether they come in and buy, that doesn't matter. They could come in and just chat the entire time. And I would be totally okay with that.
Yeah.
It's just really making the family and making your community, like I say on my lives, smile to a stranger today. Because it really could make a change. I mean, it's
the experience you're getting, and that's why
I'm a single mom. You never know what somebody's experiencing that day.
That's true.
So like you come into you leave the negativity at the door. Yeah. We're here to have a Disney party, guys. All right.
I love it. And I actually want to say, as far as going off the same thing of like, that seeing those smiles, and seeing the people, as far as, getting those packs or getting those grails. You want to tell us some stories?
Yeah, what Brittney said. I mean, it is such about the collector experience at this point, and if you can make an impact on somebody, like you said, his daughter likes this. I know my customer, collects this. If I see stuff, I buy things, I send it out. It's so much, and that's why they'll come back to you as far as, hey, I want to rip Disney tonight. I'm not going to go and who has the best price on this person. No, I'm going to go back to Brittney because they have a great experience. And that's what we try to do every day is bringing in new people, thinking about the fan experience, the collector experience, the kids that they bring. You know, a lot of these guys bring their kids into the hobby, to these shows. Dan knows it's a full family affair. And the more that we actually care about those types of things, the more people come in and they open up their eyes to this whole hobby that they didn't realize it was. You know, they think it's just cards, it's just this, but it's so much about the experience now. And that's what's going to bring kind of that future new wave of collectors in at this point.
I've been to the Fanatics Fan Fest that you guys had last summer. I mean, I just loved it. I thought it was, such an awesome experience. And for the amount of people that were there and the celebrities, I can't even imagine like what goes behind that. Like what goes into, for you, Ashley, on working on something like that. How do you organize this and just be able to make these, dreams come true for so many fans?
I tell you what, it comes down to the person walking through the door, right? You think about who's coming to this Fanatics Fest, right? They might not be diehard card collectors, right? There's a whole side that is card collectors. You compare it to the National, which is, all cards, right? Mm-hmm. But there's this other side of the fan experience where you have your kids there. They look up. The WWE side takes over Tom Brady. The guys these kids rather see John Cena than Tom Brady, which is insane. But
I know
they have, when these kids walk through, it's like, hey, we want to make sure they come in and it feels like Disney World to them. They're coming in, they're looking at, wow, I'm going to do a walkout on WWE like the stars do, like my idol does. They have these panels, right? We do all these athlete panels, and the kids and the adults ask them questions directly. All these meet and greets that you would never have. The Fanatics games where you're seeing Tom Brady throw a football again, or, play hockey. And it's just a whole different experience. And a lot of that planning and that backing, it really, we sit down and we say, what is a fan going to want to see? What do they want to do? Who do they want to see? And go from there, because it's really at this point about the fan experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's what stood out to me so much. It gives you like a validity almost to like why you collect, in my opinion, because it's
really does. It gets you excited again.
Yeah, because it's like if you have something and just squirrel it under your bed, nobody you get to show it to. I mean, it's different. The times and generations are kind of changing, where it's like you really maybe don't get to show your collection until you go out and go to an event. It's like how many times, because people, if you got it at home, if it's Pokemon, you have to bring those cards to play the game with someone. Otherwise, they don't know what you have. And the same with the sports stuff. If you're there, walking around with your case, you get to open it up and show other collectors who appreciate it. So it's kind of like, well, this is why you collect a lot of these things, is to kind of show other people, and they can show you what they have. You learn something, you kind of see like, hey, maybe I can trade what I have for something I've never seen before. Like the experience of this is just, and in the same vein with, Brittney and whatnot, it's like, now if it's all right, there's no show in my neighborhood, but I'm at home. Whatnot is turning the show experience, basically in your living room, in your bedroom, wherever you are, with your phone or PC, that experience. Yeah. Everybody in the chat, everybody talking, it's like, you just get excited, and it's nice to see so many other collectors along with you,
There's a lot of hype there, and I was just gonna, kind of piggybacking off of what I said by, I'm a giver. I am a giver. But also I love, what I love? I love people coming into my stream and not realizing what Disney's all about, and winning a Mickey spot and pulling a bookend Red Wave Mickey.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And them messaging me and being like, I just sold it on the Bay for $7,500. And I'm like,
and they get hooked.
Yeah, really. That's all.
And so they're like, okay, we're back.
That's it, honey. We're not going nowhere. Everybody get on your phone.
We're not collecting anything else. We're all Disney now.
The whole family sitting down, doing breaks that weekend. That's it after that.
This is our new hobby.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just want to talk a little bit about that fan experience at some of your shows.
Well, to what you touched on there, it's so important, especially for a first time collector coming to any event, to have a great experience. There's so often when you get a new collector in the door, you've got to treat them well. We even encourage every show, we encourage all of our vendors to be good to new collectors. If they're, kids, or there's someone who's new to the hobby, or someone maybe they collected when they were young and they're older now and they haven't been to a card show in 20 years or more, making sure they have a good experience is so important to get people back into the hobby. And, that applies to anything, whether it's sports or non-sports. They got to have a good experience, but everybody collects what resonates with them. If Brittney's into Disney, then that's what she should collect. You got to collect what you love and what you enjoy. And sometimes it's because of something you're nostalgic about when you were a kid. And sometimes it's just something that resonates with you now, and you never know. But, people should collect what they enjoy. And if you give first time collectors a good experience, whether that be an in-show, in-person experience, or whether that be on any live selling platform, I think it's so good to be good to collectors, because that's what'll keep them coming back.
What do you kind of see with the trends coming up in the future over the last couple of years? Do you see anything like, as far as you putting together the shows, are there differences and things that you say like that, okay, we have to maybe do something more in this way than that way as time goes on?
Well, our shows are a little unique. Our shows are very eclectic. We have a bit of everything. With sports, modern, and vintage, we work really hard to have a really diverse mix. So there's something for everybody. And we don't separate the sports and non-sports. I know some shows are trying to migrate to that, but we don't think that's in the best interest of the collector. It's one of those things that even if they ask for it, they probably don't want it. They just don't realize they don't want it. Because so often there's a lot of vendors that buy and sell both sports and non-sports. And at the same time, somebody's walking through with their child, and the child's interested in Disney, but the parent is interested in Otani, So, it's so important to be able to give them a fun experience where there's a little bit of everything in every single section of the show. So that's something we actually try to do. And we get people that push back on it, but they don't realize when they're at our show that's what makes it a fun experience. Because if you're walking through the show and maybe you're into sports and maybe you're a Tom Brady fan and you're walking through and you see somebody selling, a Luke Skywalker action figure, or next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, I had those when I was a kid. Now I need that. For our shows, we keep growing, and we actually have capacity issues at a lot of our shows where they're so crowded. And I think that's because of giving people a fun, eclectic experience. And so we're going to keep pushing for that.
I love it. That's awesome. It's definitely that experience and being able to walk through and you kind of see a variety of different things. Is there anything that's really out there, something that you've seen at some of the shows that have been different? Something that maybe took you back and said like, oh, wow, this is something that I didn't expect to be at a show?
Yeah, I mean, what sometimes resonates with me is seeing really, really old vintage pop culture stuff. And I certainly like that about sports because I'm a vintage sports guy myself. But it seems to resonate with me like when I see, for example, Disney, like the really super old, really old Disney stuff, or really old Superman cards or stuff like that. I find that stuff really cool. We've got a number of different vendors that do stuff like that. There's a guy named Pencil Fighters that does a lot of really cool stuff. And Merlin, I mentioned. And I really like those fun vendors that, have things that you don't see everywhere.
You'd like Dan, we're doing a Disneyland, I'm sure Brittney knows the Disneyland 70-year stuff. It looks really vintage. You'd probably dig that. It's cool.
I just want to say, Dan, how about I know you seem that you're into the vintage stuff. How about your favorite collectible? Something that you personally got into collect. Why'd you get into collecting? And what's one of your favorites?
Well, I got into collecting in the 80s. I'm old, so I got in back then. And so I still have a lot of nostalgia for even some of the junk era stuff. But, players like Wade Boggs and Don Mattingly and Tony Gwynn, back when I grew up, even the Darryl Strawberries and Dwight Goodens, who their careers didn't pan out the way we all expected. So I still have a soft spot for that, even though that era of collecting really isn't that valuable. But for me, it's the vintage stuff. I mean, I would say if you want to invest in cards, like you talked about, Mickey Mouse is never gonna, tear his Achilles, but neither is Mickey Mantle, neither is Jackie Robinson.
Time runs together for me. But I was assisting Joe in a Saturday stream, and I walked in the door, and he was getting ready to open an under wraps. And we had MLB at the time, and obviously we have all the Fanatics under wraps. And I walked through the door, and he started to open it, and I paused, and he opened the bag, and you could tell it was a vintage jersey. You could just tell by the fabric.
Oh yeah.
And he pulled it out of the bag, and it was a vintage Mickey Mantle. Like,
such a fun product like that.
That's insane. That's crazy. I mean, that's I know. It's like, who would imagine that? You don't think that far back, because all you see mostly is, current stuff. But I love the under wraps.
I just scream in the background,
Yeah. And actually, the under wrap stuff,
it's crazy.
I didn't even know half that stuff was going to be in there either.
Yeah.
So it was fun for me to watch, and I'm like, holy shit, this came out of that? Like, I had no idea, and you're like, whoa.
The crystals we have pulled.
The Jalen Hurts crystal ball. I'm like, it's insane. I mean, but that's what's cool. Like, you would never expect to get something like that.
No.
And Ashley, what are some of your favorites out of it? I mean, as far as I know, your personal collection, if you want to tell us something, and then something that you kind of see that's been coming out new with, the Fanatics product, that you're like, hey, I don't have this, but I would love to get one of those. So tell us your two.
Sure. Yeah. So if Paulie probably knows, I am the biggest Peyton Manning and Dan Marino collector. Everybody makes fun of me for my geezers, but guess what? They're goats, right? Yeah. But like, I have a full Zion case for each of them, of just like Peyton 101s, RPAs. I will take anything. I'll buy anything. People will send me stuff, because same thing, Brittney. They're like, oh, here's silly Peyton Manning auto. Let's send it to Zona, like whatever. But what's cool is, and Peyton was one of my first purchases into the card world. Like, you can see behind me, I got like footballs, signed tennis balls, memorabilia. That's where I started. And then Peyton Manning was like one of my first purchases when I started actually getting into cards. But my first card that I had that I thought was the coolest, I'm a big tennis fan, and Roger Federer was like my guy growing up. I'd be up at 3 a.m. watching his matches. I played tennis. So I'm going to see if you guys could see it. So this is one of his rookie cards.
Yeah. Wow. So, look at this. This is awesome.
These are from 2003. They were an Italian pack. It's like considered one of his rookie cards. And they used to come in these little rare packs that they'd give out with magazines and cigarettes, like back in early 2000s.
Oh, that's crazy.
So they're hard to get. I have about 60 of them.
What? 60?
Yeah, I buy them. They're not expensive, right? They're like maybe $100 raw, and I have some graded ones that $100, whatever. But I was like, I'm going to try to get all of them. They have a red background variation and a sky variation. But this was like my first card that I was like so amped up about, because it was so unique. And
awesome.
I'm a big tennis collector too.
I love it. No, that's awesome.
Like I said, Brittney, doesn't have to be the best card. Then and then I started buying Kobe's and NBA.
Well, like I said, I just brought Disney over here because that was the main topic, but Peyton is also in my PC. Being a Georgia girl, you would think that I would pick a Georgia QB, but no, Peyton is he's it.
Were you a fan of
And
either team when he was on the Colts, or is it?
I was a fan of him when he was on the Colts.
Okay.
Me too.
But
Love it, Brittney. See, I like you even more now. See,
I think the Mannings in general are just really great humans.
yeah.
And again, it just I'm a fan of him. I more than his brother. Did I say that?
Hey,
You
wait
say
a
that to
minute.
Paulie.
What are
They
we
have
talking
the
about?
rings.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Tom Brady's
Love them
dad.
both, but Peyton is in my PC, and then I do collect golf.
Nice.
Golf is something that was a family thing. My grandfather was a golfer, and so obviously Bubba Watson he's
Do you,
Nice.
Brittney?
my guy.
I'm going to send you something just after this.
Oh, no
I'm good
way.
friends with Bubba and his caddy. I'm going to send you something.
Oh,
after.
no.
So,
Get out of here. Look
yeah.
at this. Making dreams
Oh
come
my
true over here.
gosh.
And I'm going to
Why
tell him
not
I'm sending this to Brittney and check her out and blah, blah. He's an awesome guy. But yeah,
I
I'm good
love
friends with him
him
and his
so
caddy.
much.
They're
Like
good
I've
guys.
only seen him on obviously he's a Georgia boy, and I love that, but I've watched him on social media and interviews and all of this kind of stuff, and he just truly genuinely also seems like a great human being. No matter
Send me
how
your
good of
address
an actor.
after this. Text me
Yeah.
or DM me your
Yeah,
address.
you got it, girl. You got it, girl.
Listen, I don't got much to send you, Anthony, but I'm going to give you a quick little story about your buddy Dan Marino here. Listen,
I love it. I love it.
I was a big fan. Obviously, I got my first, as a kid, I couldn't wait. Christmas time, my birthday's right around there. So something I asked for was this upper deck. It was the Joe Montana, Dan Marino sitting on a yellow cab. And it's like this authenticated, like autograph, both of them. That was in, my collection. I have that from, years back. I just, love those two quarterbacks and, the era of football that came along with it. Then some years later, I was working with Yahoo Sports, and the late Tony Saragusa was a great guy that, was just fun. He's a lot of fun. Obviously, great, defensive player, if you're familiar with his time on the Ravens. But he then was telling us a story offset just about Dan Marino. He was like, so he sacks Dan Marino one game, and I believe Marino at the time had some injury. So right after the game, Saragusa gets a call from Marino's mother on the phone, and he's like, and she starts yelling at him, "Hey, Danny was a herder. What are you doing to tackle him?" I was dying laughing. He basically told the story exactly like this. I'm like, what the heck?
How
So I was
funny is
just like,
that?
mom was really into the game, but she protected him. I'm like, that's
Oh my God, I love that.
Don't
That's
come for my
awesome.
son.
yeah, that's it. Don't
Oh
come
my
for my
God.
son.
He was a mama's boy. All right, now we know.
Listen, now we know. It's it. Hey, look, we're collectors. That's all. A little bit of slow story you might not have, heard before, but figured I'd share it with you. That's something that I heard passed along. But
Oh my
I
God.
love it.
I love the
I love it.
collectibles, the stories behind them. And just want to really appreciate you all coming tonight, sharing these awesome stories. Love it, and thank you so much for coming. Guys, we're gonna just tell everybody to keep following you and check out all these cool events. Join on Whatnot. Take a look at Britt, Ashley over at Fanatics. Follow all the fun Fanatics experience stuff coming up, the fun products, and Dan at Front Row Card Show. Take a look at all the cities that they'll be in: Atlanta, Seattle, San Diego, Vegas, Pasadena. I mean, you guys got a lot of stuff coming up. So definitely take a look at everybody. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
You're my one of one. You're my kind of obsession. My big break. My case hit. Open up and show me what's hidden within. What do you collect?